Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. We have in our midst a mentor. Can you see my screen?
No.
No, we cannot.
Why are you not seeing my screen? Is anybody? Okay, I think if I share my screen, I think I've not. Okay, so we have in our midst Mrs. Abiola Agunbiade. Ms. Abiola Agunbiade is a mentor representing CyberPlura. So today she will talk to us about mentorship program. Then she will take us through different cybersecurity certification, and also she will start the module 4 with us. But before I will give her the floor to talk, let me say a little about her. Abiola Agunbiade is a seasoned and experienced cybersecurity professional and a mentor. She has been delivering series of cybersecurity mentorship program on behalf of CyberPlura since 2021. She specializes in payment security, that's PCI DSS control implementation and operationalization. She has more than 5 years experience in governance, risk and compliance. She has executed more than 6 penetration testing projects, experience in implementation and usage of threat intelligence and vulnerability management tools. She bagged a BSc in electronics and computer engineering from University of Lagos, Nigeria, and MS in cybersecurity from University of Derby here in the UK. She earned industry respected certification in cybersecurity. Few are certified in cybersecurity. The course that you are doing now, she has passed the exam. That is one of the reasons why I was happy when I was told that a mentor, Abiola, will join us, so that you can also ask questions about the exam. How does it look like? She'll be able to answer you. Then she also is certified ISO 27001 lead implementer. She's a certified ethical hacker, certified access control. She has fundamentals of digital marketing. That's Google Digital Garage. Certified associate in ISO 9001, which is for quality management system. Certified associate in ISO 7001, which is information security management system. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Madam Abiola. Madam Abiola, I think you have control now, so you can
Yes,
go
I
ahead.
can.
Okay.
But I can't do a slideshow. Okay, yeah, I have a slideshow. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me to mentor you.
Sorry, let me just arrange my screen very well so that you can. Oh, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It's a privilege to actually mentor you guys today. This kind of platform is actually very good to participate and also form friendship and mentorship, especially with someone like Mr. Bode that has put this program together. You know, that is how you get to get information about the industry. I'm here to mentor from CyberPlura. I'll talk a little bit about CyberPlura, a company that I'm actually volunteering for. CyberPlura was founded, it's actually a small, large-scale business. They provide solutions that are tailor-made for client-specific needs as regards cybersecurity issues. Most especially, they work on strategies and approaches that are tightly secured and made to provide overall security solution and controls required for business continuity, especially when there is a threat in an organization. CyberPlura can be used to also provide solution, IDS solution for the company. We also help in mentoring youth and middle-aged person to transit into cybersecurity, and we have assisted many in choosing the right cybersecurity specification. So what I'll be talking today about is cybersecurity specification, because as we all know, there are different routes into cybersecurity is very wide, and that means there are different routes where you can get into cybersecurity itself as a profession. I can't.
Okay, so
I can't switch. I don't know
okay,
why.
let me switch for you.
Okay. Okay. So as we all know, cybersecurity is very wide and there are different certifications. It can be confusing when you're new to the industry. You start wondering, what do I do? What course do I do? What certifications should I do? I've put together a few of certification and how different hiring platforms like LinkedIn and Indeed have looked into this. We have a number of certification. We have CISA. Let's take CISA for instance. LinkedIn actually, across all job functions, you have 7,000 applications, job applications. Then for Indeed, we have about 2,851. For Simply Hired, you have 3,085. If we pick another one, let's pick CEH, for example, Certified Ethical Hacker. When you look at LinkedIn, you see about 9,805. Indeed, 1,300. What does this number really tell us? It tells us that there are a lot of demand. It talks about the demand for this kind of certification. When you have this kind of certification and you search on these platforms, you see the list and the number of companies that are requiring them to get you hired. If you also look at a course, a CISM, for instance, Certified Information System Manager, you find out that there are about 4,000 demands, job demands, 1,825. On Simply Hired, you have 2,248. To the next slide. In the UK, for instance, you look at the pay structure across board for different roles in cybersecurity. In cybersecurity, you have a pen tester. Those are the different roles you can see. Security consultant, you have someone that is a cyber security manager, you have senior security consultant, information security officer, security architect, and an information security specialist. I'll still talk about the certification you can get if you want to enter any of this role. And this year listed a range of how much you can earn if you decide to go for any of this job. Next slide. So picking on the list of cybersecurity specifications, you have cloud security, AWS, Azure, and all the rest, Google Cloud. Then you also have the pen tester that is there also, the network security person. I mentioned that those are the list of cybersecurity specification. You can also decide to go into network security itself. Information security analyst. You can decide to be a cloud security architecture. Then you can also become a forensic analyst. You can decide to be an identity access management security analyst, IAM. You can be a GRC analyst, that's governance, risks, and compliance analyst. You can be a SOC analyst. You can be a PAM, privileged access management security analyst as well. And most people, the CISO is seen as the highest level in cybersecurity. So it takes a lot of experience and a lot of years to get to be a CISO. Next slide. Now, to be a cloud security person, we know that in cloud, there are different aspects to it. You have Amazon, you have Microsoft Cloud, and then you have Google Cloud. So you have to pick a particular area that you want to go into. You can decide to go into Microsoft Cloud, or you do AWS, or you do Google Cloud. Anyone you pick, they have different steps to get there. So if you decide to go that route as a cloud security engineer, you have to start with, if you're doing AWS, you do the cloud practitioner first, then you go into the associates, then you get the professional certification. Next, you can also decide to be a network security person. As a network security person, you need a Cisco certificate. There are different certification on Cisco. You have CCNA, all the likes. Then you have Placo. You also have cybersecurity analyst exams that you can also do. Cisco Certified Cyber Ops Associates. Those are some of the course certifications you can do to become a network security person. Then for a forensic analyst, you can do a GAC Certified Forensic Analyst. Then EC Council, those are a body, like IS2, they are also an examination body. They offer computer hacking forensic investigator as a certification. Then you also have a SOC analyst. You can also be a SOC analyst. To be a SOC analyst, you can write exams on CompTIA Network Plus. You can do certified information security professional, CISSP. You can also get certified as information security manager, CISM. Then you can get certification in ISO 2001 as a lead implementer. Then you can have Microsoft certified security operation analyst. Next. Okay, then also, if you're looking to become a cybersecurity analyst, that means the kind of certification you need is you need to be a certified security analyst. There's a certification for certified security analyst. There's Cisco certified network professional security. There's certified information security professional, that's CISSP. And then there's CISM as well, the information security manager. And then the ISO 27001 lead implementer. You can decide to also be an information security consultant or an analyst as well. Some of the certification includes certified security
Sorry,
analyst.
Madam Abiola, can you give me like 1 minute? Let me just make some small distinction between cybersecurity and information security. Two of them before I always consider as one, but lately, most of the recruiter, they are trying to do a kind of trying to okay, so this it is perceived in the recruitment industry that cybersecurity analyst is more of a technical and tools specialist. That is a technical person who uses tools, who uses application to deliver a cybersecurity role. Whereas information security is more of a governance person, a more of a risk person, a more of a compliance person. So information security is not seen as being too technical like cybersecurity. So that is why two of them might look the same. You might be wondering, one is cyber, one is information. The difference is that cyber is beginning to be seen as technical, while information is beginning to be seen as non-technical. So, Madam Bella, you can continue.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Bode. Also, he has distinguished between the two. So we move on to the next. If you decide to also be an IAM security analyst, that's an identity access manager security analyst. Some of the certification you will have, you will need is a certified identity access manager, Microsoft certified identity and access administrator associate. Then you also need a certified access management specialist. Then a privileged access manager, that's the next one, privileged access manager security analyst. You need certification as a certified identity and access manager, Microsoft identity and access administrator associate. Then you also have certified access management specialist. So most of the recruiters, they look out for one or mainly sometimes three of the certification to get you hired. Sometimes when you look at a job listing, you see that they require at least two of this kind of certification for you to get to get the role. Now, depending on the role, sometimes you might, if it's a more senior role, sometimes if the certification is in, some certifications are actually in stages. Some you start at the entry level, then you move on to the next level to the professional level. Let's take, for instance, the AWS, for instance. So if you are going in that route, that means if you want to get a job as middle management, you have to streamline what you really want out of all these certification and pick where you want to put your professionalism in. So you can also get a job at the professional level if you finish all the certifications at that level. Then you are looking at probably a more senior role, like the CISO that I mentioned earlier on. The next slide. Okay. No, the penetration tester is actually a technical role. So if you're good with coding and the rest, that means you can get certified as a CEH. You can also get certified as a cloud penetration tester. You can get certified. Most times, these certifications, as I said earlier on, you need 1, 2, or 3, because some of the governing bodies offering these certifications, they are almost similar across board. So you can pick a particular a particular one that you really want to concentrate on in that light, the governing body you want to actually follow through with. Then you can now go ahead to finish up with the certification in that light. You can also be a cloud security analyst. I mentioned that earlier on. We have the Google, we have the Amazon, and then we also have the third one, sorry, Google,
Microsoft.
Amazon, and
Microsoft.
Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yes. So those are 3 different companies. Now it's so unwise for you to now say, I want to be a cloud security architect now, for instance, and then you go ahead with Google first, then you move to AWS. No, they are different. Their exams are different, and their structures are also different. So you can't just, you have to pick one and then follow through with what is in line with that particular one. I hope I'm making sense with that.
Yeah.
Then
So sorry, and Ambela, one of the things that guides people is that the country where you are based, you will look at which
yes,
technology is more adopted. In your country, do they have flair for Microsoft Cloud over Google Cloud, over Amazon Cloud? Then you should begin to focus on specializing in Microsoft Cloud certifications. But if your country is doing well in Amazon, then begin to pick Amazon Cloud certification. So you need to look at your environment and choose which one is more adopted, is more in use in your environment. Then you begin to develop yourself along that line. So, Madam Bella, you can continue.
okay, sir. As he already said, yes. So I know in the UK, for instance, a lot of people do the Microsoft, and I know Microsoft Google is also cloud is also popular in Nigeria. So you need to, like I said, the country you are in, look at what is really reigning there, and then go along with that line. Next, we have the GRC analyst. Now, GRC, for you to be a GRC analyst, that's a governance and risk compliance analyst. These are like the auditors that look and they look through the requirements for a company to get certified, that okay, they meet all the requirements for them to be certified as CI as sorry, for them to be certified, yes, as ISO compliant. So you can have exams in ISO 2007 as a lead implementer or a lead auditor. Then if you have a certification as an information security manager, it's also fine. You can add that to it as well. I know Mr. Bode is a GRC expert also. I don't know if he has more to say on that.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything. You have already said it all. GRC is about risk management, about governance, about compliance to regulations and law. So certifications are many, but ISO and CISM and governor and what's it called now? Certified in governance of enterprise IT. These are the leading ones. So whichever one, just ensure that CISM is like on top. CISM is the most rigorous exam to pass. I did my CISM up to 3 times before I passed, though I did not give it full concentration because I was thinking that I'm too smart, but I didn't pass it first, second, on the third. So CISM is very respected. Then any other two will enable you have opportunity to be selected for GLC role if you apply. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so the last one I'm talking about is the Chief Information Security Officer. Like I said, that is the managerial role. So you must have gone through a particular route before you can become a CISO. You must have started somewhere, either as a pen tester, as an analyst, before you come a CSO. So what they are looking for you to be a CISO is leadership skills. So you take leadership courses, business analysis courses, and budget management, because you will be relating more with management. You'll be talking with stakeholders so you are like the go-between the technical people and management. That is your role as a CSO person. So I believe that most of us are starting up. For us to want to write cybersecurity, for us to want to write CC, we are starting up. So once we start up and we started gathering our certification along the line, we can now aim for the CSO role. I don't know if you have any questions at this time.
Yeah, so let's ask Madam Abiola a question. We are fortunate to have to speak to us today. So any question from anybody?
Or any clarification?
Any clarification?
Yeah, Taufik Ajao is my name.
Good morning, Mr. Taufik.
Yeah. My own question is, when you were introduced, it was mentioned that mentorship in cybersecurity.
Yes.
With all this you have shown now, is it that if there is a need for mentorship, is there any program like that for individuals that will be guided on these exams, how to go about them to achieve some of the certification?
Yes, Madam Abiola is
And what is it?
Okay, Tafik, go ahead, Tafik.
If it's yes, then what does it take? How long does it take, maybe for a particular one, maybe based on your experience? Okay, with this also period, maybe 6 months you should achieve this, or 3 months you can achieve maybe the SOC engineer, analyst, or the other roles which you mentioned. So what does it take to be a mentor and to be a mentee? So what is the cost implication of such?
Okay, thank you for your question. When I started this program earlier, I said this is a very good avenue, because this kind of program makes you meet people that can direct you in step to take. I was actually a mentee of Mr. Bode as well. That's the truth. He puts me through. I did some of the courses he offered, and here I am today. I really can't put a time limit. It depends on a personal zeal and your commitment. So you can't say, oh, in 2 months, I want to get this done. There are other things you are doing. You are working, as in, I'm assuming, yeah. So there are other things you are doing. But with good mentorship, like you said, you can achieve this set goals for yourself. But the first thing you need to do is look at the chart. I don't know if Mr. Bode will send it to you. Look at it and pick the area you want to specialize in. It is very important, because there are a lot of exams out there. Cybersecurity, certified cybersecurity is a very good way to start, because it's like a general overview. It wants to test your knowledge about what you know about cybersecurity. Then when you have done this, then you can now say, oh, okay, I like security, I like governance, I like networking. You can pick any part you want, and then you start writing the exams. Mr. Bode is always available, and then also he has programs, he has training programs that I'm sure he would talk about in his next class.
Okay,
about
yeah.
and how to join.
Thank you, Madam Abiola. So, Mr. Taufik, I can share a number with you after this class. She's always very helpful to guide people through, but based on what she said, there's no any definite time frame for any certifications. Some certification you can register for it today and write exam tomorrow. Like the CC you are doing now, you can write exam tomorrow. So it's about how ready you are. It's about how much of preparation you have put into it. But when it comes to one-on-one mentorship and guidance, that is what she does. She's a mentor, and this is not even the only forum where she has spoken. So if you want a number, you can contact me. I will share it with you. I will share a number with you. Any other question?
Yes, I raised up my hand.
Okay.
Good morning.
Mm.
Your profile is bulky. Well done. Okay.
Thank you.
My question is quite simple. I'm a cybersecurity enthusiast. I'm not necessarily working, but I get to every opportunity I have to go for training, certification. Like I have ISO 27001 lead implementer. In fact, Mr. Bode was our instructor. So, what would you advise someone like me if, well, I do not know if I want to take up a job yet, but still I want to grow in cybersecurity. How do you advise someone like me to develop experience if I don't want to take a job, but I still want to grow? All right.
Okay. It depends on what aspect of cybersecurity do you think you are interested in?
GRC.
Well, I know there are what's it called? I don't know if you can take consultancy job like an internship if you really don't want to work, like internship. If
But
that's
that I
what
have to go to work 9 to 5.
that
That's what I don't
I
want to
don't know
do.
how you gotta experience. You have to. I don't know if Mr. Bode has another
No, let me explain. Let me use one village analogy for Malatoni. I don't want to marry, but I want to have a child, and I don't want any man to touch me. Okay, so they say the taste of the pudding is in the eating. That's English proverb. So there is little you can accomplish without having your hands on the job. So I can tell you for free that your progress will not be tangible if you do not have any hands on. So you can also watch videos of people. Like if you go to YouTube, you will see a day in the life of SOC analyst. You will see a day in the life of GRC analyst. There are a lot of videos on what characterize their typical day on the job. You can watch that video and gain experience. But I can tell you, all of those will still be a theoretical in your mind, but having that field experience will help you in big way. So my advice is, if you don't want to take a long-term job or permanent job, like Biola just explained to you, you can take an internship job or a kind of a temporary job so that you can have hands-on. So, but my advice is that you can't taste the pudding until you put it in your mouth. Thank you. Then I think we have Ikenwosu. You have a question?
Yes, good morning, and thank you, Madam Biola, for the presentation. My question is just on the financial side. I've grown to become very interested in the GRC aspect of cybersecurity. So, from both of your experiences, what would the cost of the exams be like for GRC? Are there ones that are, less expensive than the other, at least for a start? That's just my question.
Mr. Bode
let me help you with that. Different certifications. Let me go back to where where is GRC? Okay, so for instance, ISO 27001 lead implementer, the exam is owned and managed by PECB based in Canada. PECB have licensed partners who deliver the training on behalf of PECB. PECB also have certified trainer who train for licensed partner. A partner is an organization, trainer is an individual. So let's say I have a company, I may become PECB partner. Then who will train for me must be a PECB licensed trainer. So different organizations charge differently. How much PECB ask? How much PECB is asking the partner to charge? You can't know, because it is between PECB and the partner. The partner will say, okay, I want to collect so amount of money. So some partner will even say, I don't want to make profits. I just want to pay so that I can also pay PECB. So the question is going to be difficult to be answered because so one way to do it is to enroll for any of this program. So once you are told how much it costs, you can now decide if you can afford it or not. But I can tell you from experience that you might not spend less than $600 for any of the ISO certification program. No matter where you are, whether the trainer, you might not spend less than $600. Then there are some free training materials too that you can see on Udemy, but there is even between certificate and certification. So if you go to Udemy, you will know the concept, you will know how to use it at work, but what you'll be issued is a certificate, not certification. Certification are issued by organizations that has passed through rigorous screening before they become certification body. So it is not easy and it's not cheap for any organization to become a certification body. They have been accredited by accreditation bodies all over the world. So anything they issue to you is considered to be very, very important. So we should know that knowledge and experience, we can get it on Udemy, but that's respected credential Udemy will not give you. So now to answer your question, it's going to be a bit difficult to tell you how much you will pay. But after this CC, you want to do earning, you can, I will share my number and Madam Bella number with you. You can ask us, we can tell you what you're likely going to spend to get your certification. Then Lucky Abraham.
Thank you for that.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mrs. Abiola, for your presentation and the enlightenment you brought. I want to ask from myself, coming from the IT background.
Okay.
So for some time, like 2 years plus, I've been working as an IT technician. So currently, looking at building a career in cybersecurity. And starting with this CC, I'm looking forward to SOC analyst. So my question is, if I start studying and undergoing study on SOC analyst, are there organizations that you can recommend, just like CyberPlura, that can offer or that do offer internship for maybe a short period of time to enable someone like myself to gain hands-on experience in the field? Thank you.
Thank you. For internship, it's most organizations always have their requirements before you can go in to join them as an intern. And some of the requirements sometimes you see age limitations and all that for some of them. So depending on what you are looking at after the class, I think we can discuss with Mr. Bode to see how to go about that after the class.
Okay, so let me support. There are many dynamism around getting internship. First of all, there are more internship is like labor market in Nigeria, where there are more unemployed people than the employed people. So Madam Biola has she's very careful in what you want to say, but I will expose her. She has helped people with internship before, but it is not easy. It's a function of when you want the internship and when the organization she partners with are able to offer the internship. But the best thing is to contact her, let your intention be known to her, then she will look for what organization is ready, and she will let you know. But I can tell you, it's not always easy, but it is possible. We discussed all of this behind the scene, that to manage pressure, she want to just I said no, just still be open, let people contact you, and at the same time do what you can do. So she will be more than glad to help, but it is not going to be cast in stone that she will get you something, but she will try. So I will also let you know our contact once you are ready. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so no question about how to pass CC exam. I think that's what should be our most question self, because she just passed the CC and she's still fresh. So do you want to ask question about how she managed to pass the CC, or we should allow her continue our normal business for today?
I have a question on that, please.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, for me, my scheduled date is on the 30th of this month, and I really want to know from your experience. And we've gone through. I think you've also gone through the course materials in the ISC Squared website, and as well maybe one or two other materials that helped you to pass the exam. So looking at what we are seeing in this course material and the reality of the exam, what advice would you give us, or what do you think we should expect, just to put our minds ready? Thank you.
Okay, I think at the beginning of the class, Mr. Bode mentioned that next week after the whole training, there'll be a question and answer session that they're organizing next week. To be totally honest, the material on the available is not sufficient enough to pass the exams, because what IS2 is actually looking out for is your broad knowledge, your understanding of cybersecurity as a whole. And we all know that cybersecurity is kind of wide. So it includes a whole lot. It includes the risk management. They talked about all of them. So I think the question and answer, let me not make it the answers too long. The question and answer session is really going to help. At least you familiarize yourself with the kind of questions that will come out. So after the training, I think you need to also sit down and look at the questions, take time, study the questions, see how they will be asking the questions. And it won't be straightforward answers. Sometimes they are like in between. You have to read in between the lines. Not as easy as there are questions in the slides. That's the truth. So you have to read in between the lines and see what the answers are. They're very similar, very, very. So you need to have a good understanding of what you are reading. Risk management, cloud computing, all those aspects, you need to have an understanding of it. The vulnerabilities in networking, what kind of vulnerability, how do you handle them and all that. So if you concentrate on those areas, risk management also, risk management.
Thank
Just
you very
looking for your understanding.
Thank you very much, Madam Biola. So let me just add to that. I sincerely, I'm very sincerely and passionate about making all of you pass the exam. That is why I go all out to consult different partners to come and talk to us, so that as I'm speaking, you're also hearing from them. And I think that is one of the best way I can be of total help to you. So let me give you a tip of the iceberg. I am a twin, and my twin brother is also into cybersecurity. In fact, he is occupying a position of a director in cybersecurity in one of the banks in the UK as you speak. So he has delivered this same class for people, and he has completed the class. I think about 80 people or thereabout attended. So he is having a session next week with his student to review question and answers. So rather than me replicating the same, we have agreed that I can ask my student to join his class to participate in the revision of the question and answer. So I will send the Zoom invite to you guys to join, and join him to review the question and answer, so that the next week class will be two: our normal class to finish the program, and the another Zoom meeting to participate in the question and answer. So that's one of the ways I think I can be of help. Then you have chosen 30th of this month, I think that is too optimistic because this material, like Madam Bella said, is not enough. But if you have been practicing with other materials, fine. I'm optimistic you will pass. But if you schedule the exam based on what you have learned in this class alone, I think you are not ready. So if it's possible for you to change your exam date, maybe you want to, but I'm not too sure. So okay, that's it. Then I will now allow Mr. Ikenwuzu to ask his question.
Okay, thank you so much. There's a lot of information that we're getting here. I have just a quick one about the this exam and I don't know if is this exam still open for other people to register and for it because I know it's a free exam. Was there like a timeline? Has it ended, or because I have a few people who are interested in cybersecurity. So I wanted to know if I can also introduce them to this exam as well.
Okay, thank you very much. ICS Square volunteered to assist 1 million people. As at February, it is only 50,000 people that have passed. So there is a lot of rooms. So bring them in. But this kind of training is very, I am not too sure I'll be ready for another training again until August. So the people can find a way to read and pass themselves. But if they want this kind of free training, free one, I'm not ready because I have a lot of next month. I have people I want to train on ISO 7001. Then I want to train people on AI management system in June. Then in July, I want to train people on GDPR. These are paid training. So I won't leave the paid training and be supporting people for free. So if your people can choose to read themselves, fine. And they want to wait till August, fine. But there is still a lot of room for people to do the training. I hope that's okay for you.
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Okay. Sister Debbie, can I hear your voice?
Hello, sir.
Sister Debbie of God.
Yes, sir. Okay, my question is, the exam, is it a one sitting setting or what's the duration like?
Okay, Sister Biola, do you want to answer that?
Yes, it's one sitting. Yes, you sit for it and you have to pass it. It's one sitting.
Yeah. How many questions in the exam?
Can I remember? I think it's on. They'll send you an email about the total number of questions. I think it's about. Is it 60 or 100 now? I'm not so sure. I think it's 60 or 100.
How many hours?
I finished on time. I didn't check the number of hours. I think it's 90 minutes. So I finished in less than 1 hour. So
yeah, because you're hot now.
no.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, any other question? No more questions. So we'll continue with day 4 or domain 4, and Madam Biola is going to be our teacher for domain 4. So let's see how the certified. You people did not ask me why I didn't do the exam. I didn't do because to me I think it
You
will
don't
not help
need it,
me.
Mr.
I don't need
Bode.
it. In fact, what I did in my first semester in my master is more than the entire content of that exam, and I finished my master with distinction from one of the universities in the UK. So, okay, so I will share my screen now for domain 4. Then Madam Biola, we continue. Madam Biola, do you want to request for control?
Okay. Sorry. I did earlier on.
Okay, you should have control now. Shake your mouse. You should have control. Okay,
Yeah.
if you can, we can withdraw control and ask again.
Okay, let me check. Okay, I've requested now.
It's coming. Okay, I have approved. So you have the control now. So if you scroll down, you will see domain 4. Have you?
I'm coming. It's not.
Yeah. So
Okay,
domain 4, which is network security.
Okay. So we're starting with network security. An overview of network security of CC.
Oh, what happened? Sorry,
You're using your computer, Mr. Bode.
I want to mute, so I didn't know. Let me get you back for you. A minute, please. Okay, so I will mute now, then you continue. So can you take the control now?
I have it now. Yes. Okay. So in this domain, we're looking at network security of in certified in cybersecurity, and provides artificial intelligence led adaptive learning. We've been using, so it depends on how we answer the questions. It would help us through the material. So the learning objective of this material is to explain the concept of network security, to recognize common networking terms and models, identify common protocols also and ports, identify types of network, threats and attack, discuss common tools used, identify common data center terminologies, recognize common cloud service terminologies, identify secure network design terminologies, and practice the terminologies of review and network concepts. Okay, so adaptive mode will start. So this starts with a question to know what our level is. We'll pick the level of confidence we have in it, then it moves on to the next one. So what is networking? Networking simply means two or more computers linked together to share data and information. So networking basically is about joining computers together. Depending on how big an organization is, it can even be in your house, just two computers together to share information. So depending on how an organization, your networks are, then it determines the kind of network you have available to yourself. To establish secure data communication, it's important to explore all technologies involved in computer communication, from hardware and software to protocols, encryptions, and beyond. There are many details, standards, and procedures to familiarize ourselves with. So first of all, we look at the types of network. Earlier on I said that depending on how your number of computers you have, determine the network kind of network you have. We have the local area network, and then we also have the wide area network. For the local area network, those are the networks typically spanning in a single area or a building, meaning that it is commonly a limited geographical area. It can just be in a single building or a floor of a building. While a wide area network, which is known as WAN, is a term usually assigned to long distance connection between geographically remote networks. So those are the two types of networks we have, the LAN and the WAN. Now we look at the network devices. What are network devices? We have different types of network devices. These are the devices we use to connect these computers together to give us network, to give us connectivity. That's what it simply means. Please, if I'm too fast, you can let me know. We also have the different network devices we have. We have the hub. The hub are used to connect multiple devices in a network. They are less likely to be seen in a business or a network in a business environment. Most times you use a hub at home to connect your devices together. Then you have the switch. The switch is also known as like an intelligent hub. They are used to, they are wired devices that know the addresses of the devices connected to them and route traffic, that's data traffic, to the port and the device rather than retransmitting to all devices. So these switches are intelligent in the sense that, when you use a hub directly transmits data straight to the computer you're connecting it to. But when you use a switch, the switch is intelligent enough to know the address of a particular place to send it to. The particular network, the MAC address you have assigned to it, send it to that particular system itself. So it's used for different network together. That is what you use a switch for. Then you also have what we call the router. Now, when you form a connection already, there's also the networks that you form, you can join them all together with a device known as a router. So a router is used to control traffic flow on networks and often used to connect similar networks and control traffic flow between them. Routers can be wired or sometimes wireless, and they can connect multiple switches as well. They are smarter than a hub and switches at the same time. Then another device we have is the firewall. Firewall are essential tools in managing, controlling network traffic and also protecting the network. It is important that any network you have a firewall because it protects your network from inside and outside threats within an organization. It's typically deployed between a private network and the internet. So most times the network coming from outside through the internet, if you want to come into your organization, you can use a firewall to block that internet network coming in. So the firewall is there to prevent the data from getting into your unwanted data. Yes, let me use the word unwanted, to prevent unwanted data from coming into your own private network. That is your own office network. That's what the job of a firewall is. Then we have servers. A server is a computer that provides information to other computers. A server is the system where you log all the information you want for your organization, for instance. And then every user in your organization draws information from the server. The finance department, everyone that needs information, they go to the server, they connect to the server to draw information from it. Then you also have what they call the endpoint. The endpoints are the end of a network communication link. One end is often at a server where a resources reside, and the other end is often a client making a request to use a network resources. An endpoint can be another server, it can be a desk point workstation, a laptop, a tablet, a mobile phone, or any other end user devices. So next we look at other networking terms. We have the Ethernet. The Ethernet is a standard that defines wired connection of network devices. It's your wired way of connecting to the internet through a wired system. It's different from the wireless. Next, we look at the device addresses. You have a MAC address. Each devices that are produced by manufacturing companies, every network device produced have an address to them. This address is known as the media access control address, which is the MAC address. An example is this. If you look at the figure listed here, 001-1302-1F58F5. It's important to know that the first 3 bytes, that's the 24 bits of the address, denote the vendor or the manufacturer of this physical network interface. Now, for instance, if they've designed it, there's an address to it. Once you look at it, you will know the manufacturer of that particular device. Let's take a router, for instance. When you pick a router, you see this address listed on the router. When you look at this number, when you look at the first 3 bytes, you will know the manufacturer of that router. So no 2 devices can have the same MAC address. And that is how you can configure a router and a computer together. So because the MAC addresses are different, once you configure it, it knows exactly where it is going to, where the data packet is going to, because it knows the MAC address it is being connected with. And next, we look at the internet protocol, the IP address. While MAC addresses are generally assigned to firmwares, that is the hardware itself, the routers, the switches, and all that. The IP address hosts associates that address with a unique logical address. This logical IP address represents the network interface within the network and can be useful to maintain communication when a physical device is swapped with new hardware. This is an example of an IP address. 192.168. I'm sure some of us have used this address before. It's used in addressing a particular address for your internal network in the office. Shoot. I'm supposed to change it. So question. The first question says, what is a common network device used to connect networks? Can we answer in the comment section? Let's see our ideas. Okay, someone answered us already. Someone is saying B. Who else has another opinion? Ike says A. Any other person wants to give it a try? Okay, I have Mr. Lucky saying B as well. Okay, majority says B, so let's go with B. Okay, so that we can go to the next question. Are we so confident about B? Should we say 100%? All right. Yes, it is actually correct. It's actually a router. Because the question says, what is a common network device used in connecting networks? Switch is wrong because it is not connecting networks. It is connecting just the computers together. It's not connecting network. We said it earlier in the earlier slide. We mentioned it earlier that routers connect networks together. I hope we understand that now. Okay, another trial. What is a common network device used to filter traffic? I think I emphasized on that. I talked about external and internal data coming into your data packet coming into your organization. You have something there blocking it. Okay, someone mentioned already. I have Dami, Tony, everybody saying A. Yeah, let's see if we're right about that. Somebody says B, I'm not sure. Okay, everybody says A. All right. I think we're all on the same page here. Okay. Yes, we're all right. Firewall. The firewall is actually used to filter traffic. Data packet coming into the organization. Your firewall examines it to ensure that it's what is required to come in. Networking at a glance. It's like a summary of what we talked about. So the networking at a glance, this talks about a small business. If you look at this connection, for instance, it's a diagram that represents a small business network. The line dissipates wired connection, while the other sign shows the wireless, the one that has the wireless sign. Notice how these devices behind the firewall connect via the network switch, and the firewall lies between the network switch and the internet. So let's look at this diagram, for instance. You have the router and you have the internet. Normally, when you want to connect all your devices together, look at the workstation. You are the user here. Your phones, they're all connected together using hubs and all that if you want to. But you can connect them wired together. Then they all come into a switch. And then you can see that your firewall is between the internet and your organization. This is your organization where the firewall starts. That is where your organization is at the back there. So you can see the connection that the firewall is protecting your organization network from the internet directly there. So this is an example of a small business network diagram. Next, we look at a typical home diagram. At home, you really don't need firewall at home. You also don't need a router in the house. So most times you just connect your laptops together into your access points that is being provided by your ISP, and you get your internet straight up. Basic configuration, your laptop also connected maybe through the wireless, your tablets. Most days now, everybody connects their phones, tablets to the wireless, and also the printer. together, and then you have your internet access. So this is what a typical home network looks like. All right, so we'll move to the next one. So now the question says, what connects all devices behind the firewall in a small business network? Behind the firewall in a small business network. I don't see answers. Okay. I have Ike saying C, switch. Okay. All right, let's see if you're right. Yes, you're right. A switch is used in a small business network. All devices are connected with a switch behind the firewall. And the router is after the firewall to connect to the internet. Next, we look at the Wi-Fi. Everybody uses the Wi-Fi these days, and I'm sure sometimes we wonder what it really means. So our Wi-Fi is our wireless networking. It's a popular method of connecting corporate and home systems because of the ease of deployment and relative low cost. If you don't use a wireless, you rather use a fiber optics, which is lay down cables to your doorstep. And if you look at it, the cost implication, it is a lot easier to use the wireless to connect in an organization, even in the house, is a lot easier. But the only difference is that for your fiber optic cables, for your fiber optics, it is stable. Your network is stable, except there's a major problem. If a wire cut, it is stable. But wireless, sometimes they go on and off when you connect to them. So those are the major difference. Let's look what the material says. Our Wi-Fi has made networking more versatile than ever before. Workstation and portable system are no longer tied to cables. You can easily move around with your phone while browsing, cooking, and doing all that. You can roam freely. However, with the freedom comes additional vulnerabilities. Wi-Fi range is generally wide enough for most homes or small office, and range extenders may be placed strategically to extend signals for larger campuses or homes. Most times when you use wireless, sometimes you might notice that, oh, the network is not so good or strong downstairs, then you get an extender to be able to connect to your wireless, mostly at home. But in that instance, it's still on the wireless network at the same time. And all this process creates an avenue for vulnerability to actually occur. So in a LAN setting, the network is actually brought into by wire, the wire's laid to get the connection. That's where that sometimes you see in the office that you have to clip in the network cables into your laptop to get connected. Those are LAN network. But for wireless, you don't need wire at all. You just connect to the network directly. But most organizations still prefer to use LAN because of the vulnerabilities associated with the Wi-Fi. So in a LAN, threat actors need to be near the physical space or immediate visibility of the physical media itself. For wired networks, they can be done by placing sniffer tabs onto cables, plugging USBs, or using other tools that require physical access to the network. For vulnerability to occur in a LAN setting where you are wired, okay, so we identified that the wireless, you don't need wire, but for LAN, you need wire. Everything is wired. So in a LAN network, for vulnerability to occur, you need to be physically close to this, to the media themselves. You have to be close to the server. That means you are physically inside the office for it to occur. Then that means you either use a USB to corrupt the system, or you're placing sniper tabs cables on the system. But for wireless, that is the contrast. That is opposite of it. Wireless invulnerability can take place anywhere. So far, they can connect to the network at a distance. They don't really have to be in the server room to corrupt the system of the organization. So this is also another network diagram buttressing the point as well. We already know that behind the firewall, we have a switch that's connected all our workstations together. And then we have a router outside that connects to the internet. And the firewall is there protecting the organization system. And if you look at it, the wireless, the laptops, everything are connected also because of the wireless there. The question says, what is the potential drawback associated with the freedom provided by wireless networking? There's a drawback for using wireless networking. What is it? Let's see our answers. I can't see any response yet though. Okay. Mr. Lucky said B. Are we all going with B since other people are not responding? Wow. Mr. Ike said D, limited signal range. Okay, that's a debate to go on. Who else is buttressing? Who can solve this for us? Someone else also said, Dami also says D, limited signal range. Okay. Who else is joining this debate? Who else is joining the debate? Let's read the question one more time. It says, what is the potential drawback with the freedom provided by wireless networking? There's a drawback for using wireless networking. We hammered on it and we talked about that. All right, Oluwatoni joined and said B. Okay, so let's go ahead and, for me, I think I'll decide on B. I don't want to be, okay, let's see, majority carries the votes. So we have 2 Bs and 3 Bs. Okay, so we have B. B is the answer. The class has decided that the answer is B. All right. So yes, we're right. Additional vulnerabilities. We talked about it. That limited signal range is also a limitation, but it's not the major limitation for having a wireless network. The major headache for having wireless network is additional vulnerabilities. Anybody, even someone I'm not even aware exists, is.
Sorry. I will fix it.
Okay, somebody that I do not even know is around my vicinity can enter into my network, and that is a threat to me. So it is the additional vulnerability that is the major worry for wireless network.
So, Madam Bella, let me also lend my voice to why D is correct, but not a correct answer. From when you are defining the wireless connectivity, you said that there could be extenders that will repeat the signal if the range is not adequate enough. For instance, if I have wireless network in my house and it is not strong in my room, I can put an extender in my room. The extender in my room connects to the wireless network in my parlor. The extender now broadcasts and repeats the signal to my room. So the issue of range is already a settled issue because there are solutions out there to deal with signal range limitation. So that is why limitation is not correct answer. The correct answer is wireless comes with its own vulnerability. The limitation of the signal can be managed by having extender, or they call it wireless repeater system or wireless extender system. Thank you. You can continue.
Okay, sir. Okay, these are just impact of cybersecurity is a field work that they put on there. We'll continue. Okay, next we talk about microsegmentation. The tool set of a current adversity are polymorphic in nature and allow threats to bypass static security control. So modern security attacks take advantage of traditional security models to move easily between systems within a data center. So microsegmentation aids in protecting against these threats. A fundamental design requirement of microsegmentation is to understand the protection requirement for traffic within a data center and traffics to and fro the internet traffic flow. When organizations avoid infrastructure-centric design paradigm, they are more likely to become more efficient at service delivery in data center and become apt at detecting and preventing advanced persistent threats. Now, what they're saying is that it's always good to segment your network while designing a network, the networking of your office. For instance, you put the finance department separate from the people that, what other department do we have? We have finance, we have why is this off me? Okay, we have sales and marketing. The type of data they would need are two different data. So you segment this department from each other while designing your network so that each one of them don't have the same network. So in case there's any attack or a threat into maybe from finance, these other people are safe. The net sales and networking people are safe. Let's look at the characteristics of microsegmentation. Microsegmentations allow granular restriction within the IT environment to the point where rules can be applied to individual machines or users. And these rules can be detailed and complex as desired. For instance, it can limit which IP address can communicate to a given machine, at which time of the day, with which credentials and which services those connections can use. So you can limit, you can say, okay, the person using user A is CFO. CFO should have this particular access because you're using microsegmentation. You have segmented your network. So the access he has is just for what he's going to be seeing in that particular aspect. Microsegmentation use logic rules, not physical rules, and does not require additional hardware. It has to do with setting. You set the configuration on your database already, and then each network arrangement takes the same format as well. It does not require additional hardware or manual interaction with the device and can apply the rules to various machines without having a physical touch, having to physically touch each device or cable connecting it to the networked environment. Microsegmentation is the ultimate and state-of-the-art defense in-depth philosophy. No single point of access within the IT environment can lead to broader compromise. Because you have segmented your network, you have what they call defense in-depth philosophy, whereby each segment is responsible, is free of, is not dependent on the other person, is not dependent on, the network is free of each other. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, because if you have finance, you have sales department, for instance, each department run on the parallel line straight to the network directly themselves. The microsegmentation is crucial in shared environments, such as cloud, where more than one computer data and functionality may reside on the same devices. In cloud computing, you have that some organization, they pool, they share resources. You as the provider, you have just one server providing services to various people. The best way to do it is to segment it so that whatever this particular organization is facing, their own network is different from the other person's network, right on the same, sitting on the same server as well. That's one of the advantage of microsegmentation. It assists in pooling, data resource pooling. Microsegmentation also allow organizations to limit which business function, unit, office, or department can communicate with others to enforce the concept of least privilege. Least privilege in access control is you assigning a role to a particular person, a user, or to a particular user you assign the person's role. The person is doing specifically what the person is expected to do, not more than that. That is part of access control rules. So for instance, HR in HR office probably has an employee data that no other business unit should have access to, such as employee home address, salary, and all that. Now, if HR has this kind of data, a sales and marketing department does not have a right to this data because they have no business working with that data. For instance, they don't need employees' address to do their work. So in putting least privilege rule, access control rule into your organization, you have segmented HR from sales. That means sales cannot see what HR is doing with that least privilege access control that you have put in place. Then medical records of staff, their address, their phone numbers, and all that are separated from what those ones can see. So micro segmentations like VLAN can make HR its own distinct IT enclave so that sensitive data is not available to other business units, thus reducing the risk of exposure. In modern environment, microsegmentation is available because of visualization and software-defined networking, SDN technologies in the cloud. The tools for applying the strategy are often called the virtual private networks or security groups. Even in our homes, microsegmentation can be used to separate computers from smart TVs. All these IoT devices, you can use microsegmentations to separate it so that even when one get corrupt or the patch is not up to date, it doesn't affect the other functionalities of the other devices at the same time. Let's test our knowledge. So what does microsegmentation aid in protecting against? From what we've read so far, what does it aid in protecting against? I can't see answers. I don't know why I can't view. I have to escape. The question says, what does microsegmentation aid in protecting against? A says, advanced persistent threats. B said, traditional security model. C, polymorphic toolsets. Infrastructure-centric design pyramids. What do we think it aids? Okay, Mr. Lucky is saying, I don't know if it's a new one. No. Is this a new one? Yes, 1052. Okay, I have someone saying infrastructure-centric design paradigm. Okay, I have two answers for that. Mr. Lucky is different. Mr. Lucky is saying traditional security models. Any other answer? Any other perspective? Okay, Debbie Joe is also saying traditional security models. Okay, let me explain something. In CC, basically, we need to understand that the basic foundation in cybersecurity is, I know Mr. Bode would have talked about it, the CIA, confidentiality. Do we
Hello,
all know about CIA?
you said?
I said, I know you would have talked about it, the CIA.
Yes, we did it the first day, yeah.
Yes, so that's the concept behind cybersecurity. So when you're answering the questions, you need to look at whatever the problem is, has it gone against these three triad? It's called the triad of cybersecurity, CIA, confidentiality, availability, and is
Integrity.
integrity, yes. Integrity. So when we are answering this question, that should be at the back of our mind. All right. So I think majority of the class go saying B. Okay. Level of confidence. Okay, B is wrong because I mentioned it earlier on that we're separating our network so that each person is standing on their own. Even if an attack comes, it comes only to that individual network. Everybody is like their own IT enclave. They are their own station on their own. Every department. So for instance, if our finance department is corrupted or is at least sales can still go on because they've been segmented away in the network. We have divided our network. So it has affected, you have to look at the answers in respect to CIA. Every time you see a question in cybersecurity, you have to look at it in respect to CIA.
Okay,
Traditional security. Sorry,
okay,
go.
can I also add something? So if you look at advanced persistent threat, it's a kind of threat where the threat actor has gained entrance into the network and is trying to study the network to know how best he can launch his payload. Payload is the exploit, is the real attack that the cyber crook want to launch. For instance, if I want to kidnap somebody from school, I can enter the school and stay in the school premises. At that point in time, I have not released my payload. My payload is to kidnap a student. So if I enter, for instance, from primary school, nursery school section, and I realize that that place is not easy for me to launch my payload, I may want to try primary school section. But because the school is divided into different sections, it's going to take me some effort to move from nursery section to secondary school section because they are segmented. So my persistent threat will be jeopardized. I won't be able to launch my threats, even though I have persistent to remain in the network, but I will not be able to launch my attack. I will not be able to exploit because there is a segmentation. But if the school is not segmented, I can move freely within the school premises. Then I can study where I can kidnap somebody. Then it's easy for me because the school is not segmented. But if the school is segmented, there is a fence that fence nursery school. There is a fence that fences primary section. There's a fence that fences secondary section. I had to scale fences to move around to see where it's going to be easy for me to launch my attack because the school is segmented. But the school is not segmented. Once I gain entrance, every place becomes easy for me to go because I am not restricted. I am not, nothing is stopping me. So that is why advanced persistent threat seems to be the right answer. Thank you, Madam Bella. You can continue.
Thank you for that. It's quite explanatory. All right. Okay, I think we can watch this video. Can we watch the video or we should go ahead? Mr.
Yeah, if it is 3 minutes, if it is 3 minutes, you can watch it. But more than 3 minutes, let's skip it because of time.
Okay. So this is 2 minutes, 29 minutes. It talks more about micro-segmentation. Let's just look into it.
Oh, are you guys hearing my the voice, the audio?
No.
Eh?
No.
No. Okay. So let me stop
Skip it.
sharing and I have to reshare in a different way. Sorry. So that sorry. Let me share. Wow. Hold on now. I'm coming. Let me reshare because I didn't select the audio functionality when I was sharing. So share sound. Okay. So Madam Biola, do you want to request for control again? Or do you have control? Do you have control?
Request. I want to request again.
Okay. I have approved. So you can now play now.
Okay.
So audio is coming out
Some
now.
key points
Yes.
about microsegmentation. Microsegmentation allows for extremely granular restrictions within the IT environment, to the point where rules can be applied to individual machines and/or users, and these rules can be as detailed and complex as desired. For instance, we can limit which IP addresses can communicate to a given machine, at which time of day, with which credentials, and which services those connections can utilize. These are logical rules, not physical rules, and do not require additional hardware or manual interaction with the device. That is, the administrator can apply the rules to various machines without having to physically touch each device or the cables connecting it to the networked environment. This is the ultimate end state of the defense in-depth philosophy. No single point of access within the IT environment can lead to broader compromise. This is crucial in shared environments, such as the cloud, where more than one customer's data and functionality might reside on the same devices, and where third-party personnel, administrators, technicians who work for the cloud provider, not the customer, might have physical access to the devices. Microsegmentation allows the organization to limit which business functions, units, offices, departments can communicate with others in order to enforce the concept of least privilege. For instance, the Human Resources Office probably has employee data that no other business unit should have access to, such as employee home address, salary, medical records, etc. Microsegmentation, like VLANs, can make HR its own distinct IT enclave, so that sensitive data is not available to other business entities, thus reducing the risk of exposure. In modern environments, microsegmentation is available because of virtualization and software-defined networking (SDN) technologies. In the cloud, the tools for applying this strategy are often called virtual private networks, VPN, or security groups. Even in your home, microsegmentation can be used to separate computers from smart TVs, air conditioning, and smart appliances which can be connected and can have vulnerabilities.
Yeah, so sorry, Madam Biola, let me just quickly talk here because okay, so I want to join the attendees to appreciate Madam Biola for the assistance to come and deliver this mentorship program and volunteered to take us through the domain 4 of the CC training. So we'll be going on 30 minutes break now. We'll come back at 11:30. Then when we come back, we'll continue the class. So Madam Biola, thank you very much and we'll see you again.